If someone told you that England would be down to 10 men, Mexico would be creating chance after chance, the Azteca would be shaking like it was trying to eject England back across the Atlantic, and England would still win, you'd probably ask them what movie they were watching because that's exactly what happened. Mexico 2, England 3, and somehow this match managed to be both England's most convincing performance and their most chaotic one. Hey there, everyone. Joseph here from Joji's 5 Cents. If you haven't done it already, please like, subscribe, share, leave in those comments. Put your 5 cents in, and I will try to get back to them as soon as possible. And now, coming back to this very, very chaotic match. Football has a very strange habit. Sometimes the score tells you everything, sometimes it right out bloody lies. Because this just wasn't 3-2. This was one team making almost every big moment count, while the other kept dropping diamonds down the bloody drain. The opening half hour, Mexico didn't just leave that front door unlocked. They practically left the keys under that damn welcome mat. And England, they didn't need a second invitation because Jude Bellingham, the man who somehow plays football like he's already lived three bloody careers, struck twice in quick succession, two goals, two punches before Mexico had properly settled. They were staring at a two-goal deficit, and it felt like England were attacking and more or less like they were changing interest every time Mexico misplaced that bloody ball. Now, here's where football reminded everyone why it's impossible to script anything. And that's going to you, conspiracy theorists, because Mexico had built this tournament on defensive discipline, clean sheets, compact football, structure, god damn it. Then suddenly the dam had cracks everywhere. And just before half time, Julian Quinones threw them a lifeline, and it was one goal back, one stadium reborn. Because if there's one place where momentum feels alive, it's the Azteca. You don't hear the crowd, you survive it. Then, then the game completely changed. Gerald Kwanzaa. Thomas Tuchel, why put him in? He was already walking a disciplinary tightrope and flew into a reckless challenge. Red card, and England were down to 10 bloody men. And suddenly, the entire match had flipped upside down. For Mexico, it wasn't just hope anymore. It felt like destiny had opened the emergency exit. But football can be unbelievably cruel because just as Mexico smelled blood, their own goalkeeper Raul Rangel gifted England another bloody opportunity. A costly fumble, a penalty, and Mr. Inevitable himself, Harry Kane, stood over that bloody penalty spot looking at that ball and saying, "You are going into the back of this net." And you know how the story already ends because this man has ice in his veins, and that ball went where he said it would. 3-1 to England. And sometimes this man doesn't celebrate goals, he signs those receipts and sends them flying. And yet, Mexico refused to disappear. Rahul Jimenez converted from the spot, making it 3-2, and it was game on from there. The match stopped looking like football and started looking like one of those disaster movies where everyone's trying to hold shut that final door. Mexico attacked again and again and again. Kane and Jimenez, Santi, Gimenez, Quinones, they found spaces, they found shots, they found opportunities, but they couldn't find that final finish. But it wasn't the expected goals that were here. If it was, Mexico might have been planning their quarter-final hotel already. Instead, they'll be replaying these missed chances in their heads for a very long time. Then came the tactical masterclass by Thomas Tuchel himself, the man who's paid the big bucks, the moolah. He looked at his bench and said, "Bring me every defender with the bloody pulse." And on came John Stones, Manchester City's back wall, Dan Burn, and they reshaped England in what looked less like a football team and more like airport security, with that saying, nothing gets through, or like Gandalf said, "You shall not pass," because Burn won headers that looked physically impossible. Stones organized everything, and Jordan Pickford caught crosses like they were priceless family heirlooms. England didn't just park the bus, they parked Buckingham Palace. They put those crown jewels aside, hired 11 security guards to protect it, and then every clearance felt like another minute stolen. Every throw in felt like another chapter closed, and every whistle felt louder than the last. Tuchel switch to that compact five, squeeze that Mexican attack into wide areas and force them into increasingly disparate deliveries, turning those final stages into a lesson of game management than rather than pretty football. There's this old saying though, pressure bursts pipes, but sometimes it can create diamonds, because England bent, they wobbled, even looked like they were seconds away from losing control, but they never broke. For a nation carrying decades worth of World Cup scars, this wasn't just another knockout win. It felt like emotional growth. An older England side might have panicked. This one was calculated, though. They wasted seconds legally. They slowed that rhythm down to a bloody heartbeat. They frustrated Mexico. It wasn't glamorous as shit, but it was grown up football. As for Mexico, this one will sting, not just because they were outplayed for 90 minutes, but because they'll forever wonder, what if we'd been cleaner in those opening exchanges? What if we'd punished England right after that red card? What if one of those chances fell our way? And at World Cups, these margins aren't measured in meters, they are measured in moments. And England simply own more than them. Now they march into the quarterfinals against Norway with belief soaring. But they'll also have questions about conceding twice after losing Kwanzaa to a red card. Mexico leave with heartbreak, knowing that they matched England for long stretches of the game. But knockout football doesn't reward almost, it rewards ruthlessness. So, what do you think? Was this England showing championship mentality, or was this Mexico letting one of the biggest opportunities in their World Cup history slip through their fingers? Drop your thoughts below. And if football stops serving knockout games like this, you better not be blinking, because the best chapters of this World Cup still might be waiting for them. If you haven't done it already, though, like, subscribe, share, leave in those comments, leave in your 5 cents, and I'll try to get back to them as soon as possible. And it's on to the quarterfinals.